Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you to Chapter 7 in my Human Revolution Give Me Deus Ex difficulty video walkthrough. And this one is entitled Maneuvers in the Dark. And this is a two-parter once again. And as always, we start on the lovely helipad of Sarif Industries, and we're instructed to go and see, I believe it said Sarif. If I go and see Sarif, is a completely different thing though, because I might be wandering around picking up items, going into Detroit to spend some of the shit that we got from the previous level, and so on and so forth. We will soon find out. So I'm going straight out into Detroit. I don't give a fuck about the game. Sod it, I'm off. So this is probably the best thing to do anyway, because when you're first playing, you want to always utilize the free time to do side quests, to do various other things, because the side quests in this game are not like the throwaway side quests you find in most other, console games on the market. They are fully fleshed out, they are interesting, they have good characters, and they have you doing really, really cool things. This is not, the lower quests in Fallout where you go somewhere, you talk to somebody and it's over. These generally have some interesting story developments and some really, really good rewards. And you're pretty much guaranteed a praxis kit for doing things, so you want to always do them. This guide itself is purely for the campaign, and hence that's why I haven't done it. But I'm coming over here to the gas station, to this store, to sell some of the shit that I've just got. And a little tip as well, when I first got the ability to jump 3 meters, I jumped all across this city, because there is tons of hidden things to find and little stashes. And actually on the roof of this gas station, if you use the concrete bollards and the corrugated fence outside to jump on top of it, there is a sniper rifle in a vent that you can pick up and you can sell for 1,500 credits, so that is super useful. Or you can use it if you're using the weapons. And there are various other stashes that will get you things like the protein bars, different grenades and what have you, and a couple of fences that fence off areas like alleyways that you can jump over, and there's generally something in those. I don't actually go to many of them in this playthrough because it's completely focused on beating the game, but if you do explore, you will benefit from it, and it's something I would implore you to do. But I've come back to the limb clinic, so I'm probably going to buy some more Typhoon ammo and some Praxis kits. There's a Praxis kit, there's the Typhoon ammunition. And something to note about the shops that I haven't really made aware is that they do have a limited supply, but every time you come back to them they will generally have stocked up. So always buy as much as you possibly can, because you never know when you're not going to be able to get access to it. But there we go with the Praxis kit. I've now got the ability to jump 3 meters, and I am probably going to show you where that sniper rifle is that I was just talking about. And one thing that I love about this game, aside from everything, is its aesthetic. Some of the designs and the corporate identities that they've used for all these fake companies, they just look really cool, and it's just a... There is a lot of design work in this, and there is a lot of visual effects that I really cannot criticise, because I am a perfectionist when it comes to design work, and especially photoshopped works and Illustrator works with icons and symbols and whatnot. And I'm just a stickler for things that I like, for visual fidelity that is of highest qualities. And some of my work on YouTube is not the most accurate representation of how perfectionist I can be with things, and the main reason is I'm using software that I'm quite new to, things like After Effects and Adobe Premiere and what have you. I'm quite the virgin to these pieces of software, but when it comes to Photoshop work and all that, I'm a lot more experienced, so I definitely have more of a delicate eye. And this game just has some really awesome corporate identities, and just some fantastic fictional work done, and I do approve. But once that's done, I'm probably going to be going all the way back to Sarif Industries to continue the game, or there is a little awning that you can jump on top of over here if you use the cars. And you jump on that car, you jump up onto this little lip, and then if you go around this corner, you see the box there, that is a stash. Just next to it, I think it's a protein bar. If you look down, I think it's a box of them. There you go, a box of the bars, just at the side of all the smack and the heroin and the bottles of LSD or whatever the hell all that shit is. And then you can drop down, but I've put myself into an interesting bind here, because on this game, if there's a fall of over about 3 meters, it probably kills you. And the reason is that Adam Jensen has fucking weak knees. That is the only thing I can put it down to. So when you do have the jumping ability, it's a double-sided sword, because unless you have the Icarus falling ability, you're probably going to die a lot. So don't get too over-ambitious, because you'll see here I'm looking for avenues to jump up to make shortcuts to the second floor, and then I remember if I fall I'm probably going to die. So I think it's a bad idea and I give up on it and I just go the old-fashioned way and I use the stairs. But there's actually two gold crosses here, because one of them is Sarif and the other one is Pritchard. And what Pritchard is going to do is going to basically sow the seeds of doubt in your boss. He's going to tell you that there's something a little bit off from the readings that he had from the signal, and it turns out there was a back door into the security measures of Sarif Industries. And this is a bit of a sore subject for Adam, because he died because of it, and then was resurrected thanks to the augmented abilities that now keep him alive. And it's kind of interesting, but for some reason I have the password for this computer, which is Mandrake. If you do not, this computer's password is Mandrake. There you go. And a little interesting tidbit from later on in the game. I must have been hacking like a fiend the first time through the game, and I know I was, but I conveniently forgot how feverish I was at doing it. So a lot of computers will give you passwords if you hack them, and it will make certain areas a lot easier. If you don't hack them, you have significantly more trouble. And on this recording run, because I wasn't focused whatsoever on hacking, I do have a little bit more of a tough time with them, especially at the end of the game, because there's going to be spoilers alert here, guys. I don't know why you're watching this if you've not played the game, because this is a game that everybody should buy. Everybody should experience this game, even if you're the gamer that plays nothing but Call of Duty when it comes out and FIFA. Even if you're that dude, you need to check this out, because it's doing things interestingly in a mature direction, and it's also about as polished as you can get for these kind of games. And that's not to say it's perfect, because there are bugs and problems, but it's significantly, you know, tighter than like your Fallouts, even though Fallouts do have a lot more, you know, scale, a vaster image. But you've got to play, because it's fantastic. But spoiler alert, stop if you've not got to the end of the game. The last boss, which I'm not going to tell you what it is or anything, the fight with the last boss, not only is it anticlimactic and kind of crap, but once you've destroyed 3 parts of the boss, you have to hack 3 terminals. And every time you hack a terminal, a couple of ambient enemies turn up to make it significantly more difficult and to just try and fuck you over. And 2 of the computers, for whatever reason, I had passwords for, and one of them I didn't, so I had to hack it. And if you know these passwords, you can do these computers very quickly. But also, there is a password on the master computer in the center, which when you use it, completely skips the boss fight. And I only found out about this from a conversation on my first run with I think it's Darrows who gives it you once you do one of the conversation trees. And this code effectively beats the game for you. It kills the last boss without you having to do anything. And it's the method that I use in this guide. And it takes no skill whatsoever. And throughout that video, I'm going to be explaining how you do it without using the code, even though I'm going to be using it because this is supposed to be the ultimate Deus Ex guide. And the reason I say this is, at the end of this guide, if you follow it and you do what I'm doing, you will beat the game on its hardest difficulty, you will get Foxiest of the Hounds, and you will get the Pacifist achievement. So you will get 300G at the end of this, and you will have done possibly the hardest thing on this game. But when you come up into Sarif's office, you're going to be faced by the leader of the human rights movement, which is basically a political party that believes that augmenting humanity is a slight against, you know, our own humanity, and we're kind of losing what makes us human. We're going against every moral and ethnic code, and he wants it to stop, basically. And he is a major proponent in the plot. And this is your first exposure to him, which is a conversation which goes on to a personal level because the guy is also a psychologist. And when you poke Clint Eastwood bites, and that's what he's going to find, because I actually pick confront here instead of stay cool, I do believe. Yep, I confront him. And you've got to say, this guy sounds so much like Clint Eastwood. This guy is a dynamite Clint. You should actually unlock a bloody costume with a poncho and a hat. It would just be perfect, because for all intents and purposes, this guy is a cyberpunk Clint. He is the most gravelly dude ever. He must have to smoke 6,000 cigarettes a day and live off an iron lung because, oh, he's just got such a dirty tone. It's amazing. I love it. But once you follow the dialogue tree, you can completely skip the dialogue by pressing X, and I kept it in for the purpose of the guide for a couple of areas, but towards the end I got a little bit impatient and I did skip it. And the main reason for it is some of the dialogue trees that pop up are purely for side quests, and I repeat once again, this is not a guide on how to do the side quests. I've actually got a friend who I'll probably be advertising once his channel gets a little bit bigger, who is doing a guide with the side quests in it, so you can get your side quest goodness from him when he does it. But my guide is just balls to the wall how to beat the game. But here he goes, talking a load of shit as usual. Here's Clint. Are you gonna pull those pistols, or are you just gonna whistle Dixie? Swear to God, he could be literally a pale rider. All we need is a white horse. Or this is probably a white motorcycle. Which I do think is in Pritchard's office, so maybe there's a bit of subtext there, something that you could read into. And once again, we're faced with another lengthy conversation, this time with Sarif, and this convo is only as long as you let it be, because you can let Sarif bullshit you, you can let him talk his way out of it, or you can actually go for, I think there's an achievement for doing it and get the truth from him. The direction I go is slightly more fucked up because I don't have the pheromone enhancer that enables you to watch for people's social signs, so I'm kind of fishing in the dark, and I do fuck it up. I get so far, I kind of do it correctly, and then I balls up a little bit. So if you're wanting to know the best way through that, there are probably various sites that can tell you the exact right marks to hit to get that done, but for all intents and purposes, this is just a conversation, and I probably should trim it out and make this video a lot shorter, but I've kept it in because I decided to. And I will say, this is probably the most difficult guide I've ever edited, and I've edited it quicker than any other guide because I need to get this up onto YouTube, because this is a very important walkthrough for my channel. I put one video up the other day, the very first prologue, and it ended up getting more views than maybe the last 12 videos I've put up, and they'd been up for days, and this thing had been up for a few hours, and it had almost like quadrupled the views of any of the other videos. So if I can get this up, hopefully I'll have another renaissance moment that I had with Dead Space 2, and I'll continue to grow, because that is what my YouTube channel is all about. It's about building an empire. It's about having, you know, the best and highest quality that I can possibly provide, and keeping it as diverse as possible and entertaining multiple people, because I don't want to be a channel that can do only Call of Duty, and if I put anything else up everybody gets angry, because that's not who I am. I am not a Call of Duty player. I am somebody that likes Call of Duty, and when I play it, I have decent games. That is who I am. I am not a Call of Duty player by any purposes or any intents. It's just one of the things I enjoy to do, so the ability for me to put everything else up, even though they don't get the same kind of views as the Call of Duty stuff does, is always going to be an important part of my channel. And even if I get, you know, 200 million subscribers and all I'm doing is, you know, pretending to be Czechoslovakian and driving tanks and things, I'm still going to be making guides, and I'm still going to be putting up the content I want to. Hopefully by then, though, I might have good fucking internet and be able to put up 20 and 30 minute videos in seconds as opposed to 10-minute videos in hours. But I do believe this conversation's coming to the end, and I've got to say, that dude's waistcoat, not only is it ridiculous, massive and creased, but it's fashionably creased, so we'll let him off. It's kind of beast, I kind of like it. And his glove as well, his augmented arm, it's got this lovely gold inlay on it that's all patterned and motifed, and it looks badass. It kind of looks like a cooler version of Darth Vader's hand. Megan said you could roll with the punches. And I can't imagine a bar fight in this future, because you never know who's augmented or not, and you could go to some guy, punch him in the face, and be like, oh yeah, he's never going to take another one of them, and he turns around and wallpapers your ass, because he hits you with 7,000 pounds of pressure in the space of an inch. It just wouldn't be fair. It'd be like fighting a fucking train. And he's still talking, Jesus Christ, dude. You talk more than I fucking do, and I've got 550 odd videos of my damn voice. Goodness me. All this technology and they don't have hair dye. Or maybe he thinks it makes him look, you know, more esteemed, more authentic. He definitely goes with his outfit. When I first saw the character designs for Sarif, I actually thought he was a priest because he's got the white collar thing going on, but then I realised he's probably going to be some seedy Michael Douglas motherfucker, and probably not as innocent and naive as he pretends to be, especially if you watch the secret ending, because, spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with him. Yep, spoiler alerted for no reason there, just to fuck with you. Boss, 6 months ago, Jesus Christ, this conversation does go on for. I say I'm not going to be able to talk a load of bullshit, and here I am, swimming knee-deep in my own feces. Unbelievable. But I'm going to talk about some music, seeing as how this is taking a while. And I am a massive Opeth fan. For anybody that doesn't know, Opeth are a Swedish progressive melodic death metal band, or something ridiculous like that if you want to trope it with the genre. They make beautiful music. They have about 9 albums. They've just released the 10th album, and I've been into them since an album called Ghost Reveries, and then I bought everything that they had. And they've just released one called Heritage, and it's the second album they've released where there's no death metal growls, no harsh vocals, and it just feels weird. It also sounds completely different to the Opeth sound that I've come to know and love, and I'm not too sure if I love it or if I hate it. And it is the most eclectic and just obscure music they've released to date. And I'm kind of confused because the music before, the music was always fine, the mellow vocals were also beautiful, and it could have been at the top of a pop chart, but they always had the harsh growls in them which separated them and isolated people who didn't like that kind of music. And now what they've done is they've taken away those heavy aspects but replaced them with the most polarizing music ever, because the music's like this fucking jazz bluesy fusion of heavy elements and literally free-form jazz moments of just, you know, riding snares and occasional bloody lilts and things and little riffs and licks. It's just the strangest music ever, and you can never say that they're a band that released the same album twice, because they're clearly not, but it's really hit me, and I have really, really bad experiences with bands that I love bringing out bad albums, because The Devil's Wears Prada have just released an album and they said they were going to focus in a more heavy direction, and what that means is they've simplified the music and made it shit, because this is a band that mixed brutality and beauty really well, and I really like their old stuff. I really like everything up to this most recent album and their EP, which I didn't like either, because all it is now is simplified growling all the time and no melodic options, and when they finally do go mellow, it's really bad cashed in choruses. It's like, you know, I like bees, they smell like me's, and I like taking a wheeze. It's just pointless rhyming, bad lyrics, and just, you know, it's music by numbers, and that's the kind of music I fucking hate. But back to the game, guys. I do apologise for that elongated conversation. Mr. David Sarif loves the sound of his voice, much like Revolver Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 2. But once you're done, if you come over back to the elevator, you can ride it all the way back down, and we will be moving towards the second part to Manoeuvres in the Dark, which will be in another video. But this is quite a hefty one. This one's 19 minutes long, so there is a handful of short ones and a handful of long ones. This is probably going to be an absolute bastard to upload just because of its size. And right here, I'm thinking about dropping off, and then I remember I don't have Icarus's wings, and that fall would kill me. So if that is not the most chastising and underwhelming moment of the guide so far, I don't know what is. But back to the helipad, back to Malik, and back to, you know, unveiling the events of the Ghost in the Machine. And I'm not quite too sure what the next section is. I think we're going to be going to Hengsha, so we're going to be going to Shanghai.
The boss said you were on your way.
So let's listen in. Yep, we're going to Shanghai. That's going to be in the next video. But first there's a conversation, and I'm not too sure if it's going to be carrying on, but there is absolutely no strategy for me to employ here for you, aside from saying that you're ready, which took me slightly longer than it probably should have. And that just leaves me to say once again, guys, thanks for watching. Thank you for anybody that leaves comments, and, you know, even if it's completely preposterous like first and bullshit like that, I'm grateful for every single person that takes the time. If you like the videos, you're a champion. If you subscribe, you're going to be added to the Legends list. And even if you're not digging what I'm doing now, but you've liked what I've done in the past, feel free to drop some ideas that you would like to see that would keep you with me, and I'll try to mix things up. But as always, thanks for watching, and you take care now.